The rain poured hard that night in Seattle, painting the streets in a blur of silver reflections. Emily Carter gripped the steering wheel tighter, her heart pounding as she glanced at her son in the back seat. 6-year-old Liam lay slumped against the seatbelt, his cheeks flushed red, his breathing uneven. Fear gripped her chest. She had tried the fever medicine, cold compresses, everything. Nothing worked. Now all that mattered was getting him to the hospital. When she finally pulled up at the emergency entrance, the storm was at its worst. Thunder rumbled in the distance as she jumped out of the car, gathering Liam in her arms. His small body felt too warm, too weak. She pushed through the glass doors, calling out to the nurse at the front desk. "Please, my son, he's burning up." The nurse rushed over with a wheelchair, her calm voice guiding Emily through the panic. Within seconds, they were moving down the hallway under harsh fluorescent lights. The smell of antiseptic filled the air. Emily tried to stay strong, whispering to her son, "It's okay, baby. You'll be fine. Mommy's here." Then a voice broke through the noise. A deep, familiar voice she hadn't heard in 7 years. "Emily?" Her feet stopped moving. For a heartbeat, she couldn't breathe. Slowly, she turned toward the sound, and there he was. Dr. Nathan Reed stood just a few feet away, his white coat slightly wrinkled, a stethoscope hanging around his neck. His hair was shorter now, a touch of gray near his temples, but his eyes, those warm brown eyes, were exactly the same. The same eyes she used to wake up to every morning. Her lips parted in shock. "Nathan?" He blinked, his professional mask faltering as recognition hit him. The air between them changed instantly, thick with memory, surprise, and something she didn't dare name. Nathan's gaze shifted to Liam, who was resting weakly in the nurse's arms. The moment their eyes met, Emily saw something flicker in his expression. Confusion, disbelief, then concern. "Let's take him in," Nathan said quickly, snapping back into doctor mode. "We'll run tests right away." Emily followed silently as they wheeled Liam into a treatment room. Her heart raced, not just from fear for her son, but from the shock of seeing the man she once loved, the man she had never expected to meet again. Nathan checked Liam's temperature, listened to his heartbeat, gave calm instructions to the nurses, and set up an IV. His movements were confident and precise. He was exactly the man she remembered, steady, focused, always in control. But Emily couldn't stop her mind from spinning. She hadn't seen him since that night. The night they fought, the night everything fell apart. He had left for a new hospital position across the country, and she never told him what came next. About the baby. About Liam. Now, standing here, it felt like the universe had chosen the cruelest possible moment to reconnect them. "His fever is high, but it's manageable," Nathan said, glancing at the monitor. "We'll keep him for observation." Emily nodded, trying to steady her shaking hands. "Thank you." Their eyes met for the first time without anyone else in the room. For a second, neither spoke. The silence was full, heavy with all the words they'd never said. Nathan finally broke it. "Emily, it's been a long time. 7 years," she said softly, before she could stop herself. He nodded slowly. "You look the same, just different." Her throat tightened. Life does that. Before either could say more, Liam stirred slightly and whimpered, "Mom." Emily rushed to his side, brushing his hair back. Nathan stood quietly, watching them, something in his eyes softening as he took in the picture before him. Emily could feel his gaze, but she didn't look up. She didn't want to see the recognition dawning on his face, the realization that this little boy shared his features, the same brown eyes, the same dimple in his cheek. Minutes stretched into an hour. Liam's fever began to drop, and the tension in the room eased just a little. Nathan wrote notes on the chart, then turned back to her. "He's strong," he said gently. "Kids bounce back fast." Emily managed a small smile. "He's always been tough." There was a pause, the kind of pause that carried too many questions. Nathan looked at Liam again, then back at her. "He looks familiar," he said carefully. Emily's pulse skipped. He takes after me." Nathan didn't press. though his expression said he didn't quite believe her. He simply nodded, professional again. You both should get some rest. There's a waiting area if you'd like to lie down for a bit. I'll stay with him, she replied quickly. He doesn't sleep well without me nearby. Nathan hesitated, then nodded. All right, I'll check on him again soon. He turned to leave, but as he reached the door, he paused. Without facing her, he said quietly, It's really good to see you, Emily. She didn't know how to respond. The sound of his voice stirred something deep inside her, something she thought she had buried long ago. She wanted to tell him she had missed him, that she had thought about him every single day. But she couldn't. Not now. Not here. Not like this. After he left, Emily sat by Liam's bedside, her fingers gently tracing the edge of his blanket. The steady rhythm of the heart monitor filled the silence. Outside, the rain kept falling, soft and relentless. Her mind drifted back to the past, to the young love they once shared. College sweethearts who dreamed of changing the world together. Nathan had been so full of life and purpose, and she had believed in him completely. But life had a way of pulling people apart. One argument, one misunderstanding, and everything shattered. When she found out she was pregnant, Nathan was already gone, unreachable. She had told herself it was better this way, that she could raise Liam on her own. And she built a life, a home, a sense of peace. Until tonight. Now everything she had kept hidden was standing just outside that hospital door, wearing a white coat. Carrying the same kind smile she had fallen for. Emily looked down at her sleeping son, brushing a tear from her cheek. You met your father tonight? She whispered softly. You just don't know it yet. The clock ticked past midnight. The rain slowed, then stopped. Somewhere down the hallway, she could hear Nathan speaking to another patient, his calm voice echoing faintly. She closed her eyes, letting the sound wrap around her like an old memory. It was strange, comforting, and painful all at once. As she sat there, she realized something she hadn't allowed herself to feel in years. Hope. A dangerous, fragile hope that maybe fate wasn't done with them yet. But Emily knew better than to trust hope too quickly. Life had already taught her that love could heal, but it could also break you apart. Still, as she held her son's tiny hand and listened to the storm fade outside, one thought lingered in her mind. Maybe this night wasn't just about saving Liam. Maybe it was the beginning of something she thought she had lost forever. And in the quiet hum of the hospital room, Emily Carter took a deep breath, unaware that her world and Nathan's was about to change forever. Morning came softly over the Seattle skyline, washing the hospital in pale gold light. Emily hadn't slept all night. She sat beside Liam's bed, watching the steady rise and fall of his chest. The beeping of the monitors was the only sound in the quiet room. She should have felt relief her son was safe, his fever down, but her mind wouldn't stop replaying last night. Seeing Nathan again had shaken her to the core. The door opened quietly, and Nathan stepped inside with a clipboard in hand. His white coat was gone. Now he wore a light blue shirt with the sleeves rolled up. He looked tired, but his smile was warm. Good morning, he said softly. How's our little fighter? Emily managed a small smile. He slept through the night. Temperature's normal now. That's good, Nathan said, checking Liam's pulse gently. He'll be fine, Emily. You brought him in just in time. His calm words should have comforted her, but they only made her heart ache. She used to love that calm voice, the same voice that once promised her forever. Thank you, she murmured. Nathan straightened and turned toward her, folding his arms. His eyes studied her face for a moment, as if searching for the years they'd lost. It's strange seeing you here, he said finally. I never thought I would. Neither did I, she replied, looking away. Life has its own plans. He gave a faint smile. Yeah, it does. For a moment, silence hung between them. It wasn't cold, just heavy, full of things both of them wanted to say but couldn't. Nathan looked at Liam again, curiosity flickering in his eyes. He's a great kid, he said softly. Smart, polite. Reminds me of someone I used to know. Emily's pulse skipped. He takes after his mom, she said quickly. By the time she built up the courage to tell him, he was gone, transferred, untraceable. She wrote letters but never sent them. She told herself it was better this way, that Liam didn't need to grow up in a mess of half-healed hearts. But standing here now, watching Nathan care for their son, she wasn't so sure anymore. Hours passed. Nurses came and went. Liam woke up asking for water, his small voice weak but steady. Emily helped him sip from a cup, smiling softly. "You're doing great, sweetheart." When Nathan came back, Liam's face brightened. "Hey, Dr. Reed." "Hey, champ," Nathan said, kneeling beside the bed. "Feeling better?" Liam nodded. "A little tired. It's normal. You'll be running around again in no time." Nathan smiled, and the warmth in his eyes made Emily's chest tighten. He had always been great with kids, gentle, patient. Liam tilted his head curiously. "You talk like my mom sometimes." Nathan laughed. "I'll take that as a compliment." Emily's heart stung. She turned away, pretending to fix the blanket. Nathan noticed, but said nothing. Later, while Liam watched cartoons, Nathan motioned for Emily to step outside. They walked down a quiet hallway lined with hospital windows. The rain from last night had stopped, leaving the city fresh and bright. "I need to ask," Nathan said softly. "What happened, Emily? You just disappeared. One day we were together, and the next, you were gone." Emily stared out the window, her reflection pale in the glass. "I was scared," she said simply. "Everything happened so fast. You were leaving, and I didn't know how to follow. I would have stayed if you'd asked," he said, his voice low but firm. "You didn't even give me the chance." She turned to face him. "You were angry, Nathan. You said we needed time apart. I thought you meant it." He shook his head slowly. "I was hurt, not done. You should have told me." Her eyes filled with tears. "I wanted to. But by the time I found the courage, you were gone." He exhaled, running a hand through his hair. 7 years, he said quietly. 7 years of wondering what went wrong? Emily wiped her tears quickly. "It wasn't your fault, or mine. Maybe we were just too young." Nathan looked at her for a long moment. "Maybe, but that doesn't make it easier." They stood there, the quiet hum of hospital life moving around them, nurses talking, machines beeping while their own world felt frozen in time. Then Nathan's voice softened. "Do you live here in Seattle now?" "Yes, I moved here 3 years ago for work, and Liam." She hesitated. "He's everything to me." "I can see that," Nathan said gently. "You've done a great job, Emily." Something about the sincerity in his tone broke her walls just a little. For the first time in years, she let herself meet his eyes fully. The man she had loved was still there, older, wiser, maybe even kinder. "I should go back," she whispered. "He'll wake up soon." Nathan nodded, though he didn't move. "Emily," he said quietly as she turned away, "I don't know what happened between us, but I'd like to understand someday." She paused, her back still to him. "Maybe someday," she said softly, and walked away. Back in the room, Liam smiled sleepily as she tucked him in. "Mom, is Dr. Reed your friend?" Emily froze, then forced a small smile. "He used to be sweetheart." "He's nice," Liam said, yawning. "You should be friends again." She laughed quietly, brushing his hair back. Maybe one day. When Liam finally fell asleep again, Emily sat beside him, staring at the door. She could still feel Nathan's presence lingering in her mind, his voice, his kindness, his questions. She knew he suspected something, maybe even guessed the truth. The thought terrified her, but it also gave her hope as the sun dipped low outside the hospital window. Emily realized the truth she'd been avoiding for years. The past wasn't gone. It was standing right in front of her, waiting, and sooner or later, she would have to face it. She reached for her son's hand and whispered, "Maybe it's time." And for the first time in 7 years, Emily Carter didn't just feel fear. She felt something else rising quietly inside her, the possibility of forgiveness, and the smallest spark of love she thought had long faded. The next morning, sunlight streamed softly through the hospital window. Liam was sitting up watching cartoons, his energy slowly returning. Emily stood by the window, holding a cup of coffee she hadn't touched. Her heart was calm on the outside, but inside it was chaos. She knew she couldn't keep the truth hidden much longer. Nathan deserved to know. He had the right to know. But how could she tell him after all these years? How could she explain the silence, the lost time, the secret she had carried alone? The door opened quietly and Nathan stepped in, holding Liam's discharge papers. "Good morning, champ," he said with a smile. "You look 100% better." Liam grinned. "I feel better too. Can I go home now?" "Almost," Nathan said. "Just need to sign a few things first." He turned to Emily, his expression gentle but unreadable. "Can we talk?" "Outside." She nodded, her chest tightening. She kissed Liam's forehead and followed Nathan out into the hallway. The corridor was quiet, filled with the faint hum of machines and footsteps echoing from far away. Nathan leaned against the wall, folding his arms. "Emily, I need to ask you something," he said softly. "And I want you to be honest." Her throat went dry. "Okay." He hesitated, choosing his words carefully. "That boy, Liam, he looks so much like me, it's impossible not to notice. He even has my dimple." His voice wavered just slightly. "Is he?" Emily looked away, her eyes stinging. She wanted to lie, to keep things simple, to avoid reopening wounds. But one look at Nathan's face, the confusion, the quiet hope, the pain broke something inside her. She took a deep breath. "Yes," she whispered. "He's yours." The words hung in the air like thunder dot. Nathan blinked, his jaw tightening. "Mine?" Emily nodded slowly, tears slipping down her cheeks. "I wanted to tell you. I really did. But you were gone. I tried to reach you, but I didn't know where you were working. Then I got scared. I thought maybe you'd moved on. Maybe you didn't want to hear from me again." Nathan took a shaky breath, running a hand through his hair. 7 years, Emily. I've missed 7 years of my son's life." His voice wasn't angry, but filled with disbelief and sorrow. His first words, his first steps. "I wasn't there." "I know," she said softly. "I live with that every day. But I wasn't trying to punish you. I was just trying to survive. I didn't have anyone. I did what I thought was best for him." Nathan turned away, pressing his hand to his forehead. For a moment, he said nothing. Then his voice broke. "You should have trusted me." Emily swallowed hard. "Back then, trust was the one thing we didn't have." He looked at her, pain and love mixed in his eyes. "You're right. But I would have wanted to be there. You know, I would have." She nodded, unable to stop her tears. "I know that now." Silence filled the hallway. People walked past them, nurses called out instructions, but Emily and Nathan stood still, their world frozen in that moment of truth. After a long pause, Nathan's voice softened. "What's he like?" She smiled weakly through her tears. "Curious, kind. He loves space and dinosaurs. He builds entire worlds out of Legos. He's the best part of my life." Nathan's eyes glistened. "I wish I'd known him sooner." "You can still know him," Emily said, her voice trembling. "He doesn't have to lose you the way I did." That hit him hard. He turned away for a second, collecting himself, then nodded slowly. "I want to be part of his life, Emily. I don't want to be a stranger to my own son." "You won't be," she whispered. "I promise." They walked back to the room quietly. Liam was coloring in a book, his small hands moving with focus. When he saw Nathan, his face lit up. "Dr. Reed, look what I made." Nathan smiled, crouching beside him. "That's amazing, buddy. You're quite the artist." Emily watched them, her heart full of emotions she couldn't name: joy, guilt, hope. The way Nathan looked at Liam made her chest ache. It wasn't just pride. It was love, natural, instant, real. Liam showed him a drawing of 3 stick figures, a boy, a woman, and a man holding hands. Nathan stared at it for a moment, his smile faltering slightly. "Who's this?" he asked gently, pointing to the man. "That's you," Liam said without hesitation. "You're my favorite doctor." Emily looked away quickly, biting her lip to hold back tears. Nathan's voice was soft when he replied, That means a lot. Liam, more than you know. Later that afternoon, when the nurse came with discharge papers, Nathan went over the instructions while Emily packed Liam's things. He kept glancing at her, as if afraid she might disappear again. As they stepped outside into the cool autumn air, Nathan spoke quietly. Emily, I want to be in his life not just as a doctor, but as his father. I won't push you, but I'm not walking away this time. She met his eyes. I believe you. He looked at Liam, then back at her. You've done everything right. I'm not here to take that from you. I just want to be here too? Emily felt tears rise again. But this time, they were different. He deserves that. And you do too. They stood there for a while, watching Liam chase a few leaves that danced in the wind. For a moment, it almost felt like a family, something whole, something possible. When Nathan turned to her again, his expression was softer than she had ever seen. Emily, I don't want to lose more time. Not with him, and not with you. Her breath caught. Nathan. I'm not asking for anything right now, he said gently. I just want you to know I never stopped caring about you. Not for a single day. She looked down, her voice barely a whisper. It's been a long time. I know, he said. But some things don't fade. For the first time in years, Emily didn't look away. She saw in his eyes the man she had once loved, older now. Wiser, but still the same Nathan who used to hold her when she couldn't sleep. Let's take it one step at a time, she said softly. He smiled. That's all I'm asking. Just then, Liam ran up to them, holding a leaf in his hand. Look, Mom. Dr. Reed, this one looks like a heart. Emily smiled, taking the leaf from his hand. Nathan chuckled quietly, glancing at her. He's got your way of finding meaning in everything. Maybe he got that from both of us, she said. Nathan nodded slowly. Maybe he did. As they walked toward the parking lot, Emily felt something shift inside her, a strange, quiet sense of peace. For years, she had carried guilt and fear. Now there was something lighter taking its place, forgiveness, and maybe the start of healing. When they reached the car, Nathan knelt down to Liam's level. You take care of your mom, okay, buddy? Liam nodded seriously. I always do. Nathan smiled and stood up. His eyes met Emily's one last time. I'll call tomorrow. Maybe we can all grab lunch. She hesitated, then nodded. I'd like that. He gave a small smile, then turned to head back toward the hospital. Emily watched him go, her heart full of mixed emotions, sorrow, relief, love, and the fragile hope of something new. As she buckled Liam into the seat, he looked up at her with innocent eyes. Mom, do you think Dr. Reed could come to my birthday next week? Emily's voice trembled as she replied, I think he'd love that, sweetheart. And as she started the car, Emily Carter realized that the truth, though painful, had finally set her free. The years of hiding were over. The man she once loved was back, and now he knew the truth. What came next, she didn't know. But for the first time in a long time, she was ready to find out. A week passed since the night everything changed. The hospital felt like a distant memory now, replaced by the quiet rhythm of normal life. But for Emily, nothing truly felt normal anymore. Every moment carried a new weight. The sound of her phone buzzing made her heart skip. Every time Leah mentioned Dr. Reed, her chest tightened. Nathan was part of their lives now, and the walls she'd built around her heart were starting to crack. It started simple. Nathan called every day to check on Liam. Sometimes their conversations were quick, a doctor's update. A friendly joke, but slowly they became longer. They talked about school, work, and even old memories. Nathan had a way of making her laugh, the same way he used 2 years ago. And every time she heard his voice, she felt something she hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. Saturday came bright and calm. Emily and Liam were preparing for his small birthday gathering at the park. Just a few friends, some cupcakes, and balloons. Liam ran around the living room excitedly while Emily tied ribbons on the party favors. Then came a knock on the door. When she opened it, Nathan stood there, holding a small gift wrapped in blue paper. He smiled, warm, gentle, familiar. I hope I'm not too early. Liam ran up instantly. "Dr. Reed, you came." Nathan laughed and knelt to hug him. "I wouldn't miss it for the world." Emily watched them, her heart quietly melting. The way Nathan looked at Liam was pure, full of love and pride. It was everything she'd always hoped her son would have, a father who cared, who showed up, who stayed at the park. The afternoon sun painted everything in soft gold. Children played, laughter filled the air, and Liam ran freely, his cheeks glowing with joy. Nathan joined in, helping set up the decorations and even chasing the kids around during games. He fit in effortlessly, as if he had always been part of this little world. When everyone gathered around to sing happy birthday, Emily found herself standing beside Nathan. As Liam blew out his candles, she glanced at him. Their eyes met, and in that shared look was a silent understanding. This was what they'd both missed for so long after the party. When the children had gone home and the park grew quiet, Nathan and Emily sat together on a wooden bench watching Liam play with his new toy airplane. The evening light softened around them, the air carrying the smell of grass and cake. "He's amazing," Nathan said quietly, his eyes following Liam. "You've done such a good job with him, Emily." She smiled, her voice soft. "Thank you. It hasn't always been easy, but he makes everything worth it." Nathan turned toward her, his expression serious but kind. "I want to be there for him, not just as a visitor, but really be part of his life. I know I can't change the past, but I want to build something now." Emily's hands trembled slightly. "That's what I want too. But it's not just about Liam, Nathan. We've both changed. Life isn't the same as it was." He nodded slowly. "I know. I've made my share of mistakes. But losing you once was enough to make me realize what really matters. I don't want to lose this again, either of you." His words caught her off guard. She looked down, trying to steady her thoughts. For years, she had convinced herself that love like theirs couldn't last, that it had burned too bright and too fast. But sitting beside him now, she realized that maybe it hadn't died at all. It had just been waiting. "I'm scared," she admitted quietly. "Scared of getting hurt again, scared of giving Liam something that could break." Nathan reached out, his voice steady. "Then let's not rush it. We'll take it slow, step by step. I don't expect you to trust me right away. I just want to earn my place again." Kay's sincerity was disarming. Emily felt a lump in her throat. She looked into his eyes and saw the same man she'd fallen in love with years ago, only now. He looked stronger, more grounded. "Maybe we can try," she said softly. Nathan smiled, a smile that reached his eyes. "That's all I needed to hear." As the sky turned orange and pink, Liam ran back toward them, holding his toy high. "Mom, Dr. Reed, look, it's flying." Nathan stood up and helped him toss it again, his laughter mixing with Liam's. Emily watched, a warmth spreading through her chest. For the first time in years, she felt like her little family wasn't missing something anymore. Later, as they walked back to the parking lot, the air turned cool and quiet. Nathan walked beside her, carrying a few leftover balloons. "He's a great kid," he said again, his tone thoughtful. "And he's got your heart." Emily smiled faintly. "Maybe a bit of yours too." Nathan chuckled softly. "I hope so." When they reached the car, Liam climbed into the back seat and instantly fell asleep, his head resting on his new toys. Emily turned to face Nathan. The evening light glowed against his face, and she noticed the way he looked at her, calm, patient, and full of something she hadn't seen in a long time. "Hope, I know this is complicated," he said quietly. "But Emily, if you let me, I'd like to make it simple. I'd like to be there for him, for you, for whatever comes next." She took a deep breath, feeling the weight of years lift from her shoulders. "You already are," she said softly. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Nathan reached out, gently brushing a strand of hair from her face, a small, tender gesture that carried all the unspoken years between them. She didn't pull away this time. "Thank you," he whispered, "for giving me this chance." Emily smiled through misty eyes. "You earned it." As Nathan started to walk away, Liam stirred in his sleep and mumbled, "Mom, is Dr. Reed coming with us?" Emily looked at Nathan, her heart fluttering. He gave her a questioning smile, waiting for her answer. She leaned into the car and whispered, "Maybe someday, sweetheart." Nathan's eyes softened. "Someday," he repeated, as if making a quiet promise. The wind carried the last golden light across the park. And for the first time in years, Emily didn't feel alone. She felt like life was giving her a second chance, not just at love, but at family, at healing, at peace. Driving home, she glanced in the rearview mirror. Liam was smiling in his sleep, clutching his toy airplane. The city lights blurred around them, and her mind drifted back to the hospital night. The fear, the storm, and the unexpected reunion that had changed everything. Sometimes life didn't end the way you expected. Sometimes it came full circle, messy, painful, but beautiful. When she reached home, Emily tucked Liam into bed and stood by the window looking at the stars. Somewhere out there, Nathan was probably looking at the same sky, thinking of them. She smiled to herself, whispering, "We're going to be okay." And in that quiet, peaceful moment, Emily Carter felt something she hadn't felt in years. The steady, gentle rhythm of hope returning to her heart. The storm that had once torn her world apart had finally passed, leaving behind not emptiness, but light, the kind of light that comes only after you've walked through the dark and found your way home again. Their story wasn't over. It was just beginning.